Let's understand now in the afternoon session which questions were asked from the production in a mechanical gate. So the question was asked, a surface grinding operation has been performed on a cast iron plate having the dimension. There is one iron plate is there and the dimensions are 300 millimeter length, 10 millimeter width and 50 millimeter in the height. The grinding was performed using an aluminum wheel having the wheel of diameter 150 millimeter. So whichever the wheel from which we are performing that operation of the grinding, that wheel has a diameter of 150 millimeter as well as the width of the wheel is 12 millimeter. The grinding velocity used is a 40 meter per second. This is the velocity by which grinding takes place. That means the wheel is rotating by the surface velocity 40 meter per second. That is what grinding velocity is. The table speed is 5 meter per minute. So whatever the plate which is being placed on that particular table, the table is moving by certain velocity and the velocity by which it is moving is a 5 meter per minute. The depth of the cut per pass is 50 micrometer and the number of grinding passes are 20. So 20 number of passes in which operation is completed. The average tangential and average normal forces in each pass would be 40 and 60 Newton respectively. Tangential force is cutting force, normal force is the thrust force by default, free statements. The value of the specific grinding energy, there the specific grinding energy was given, here the specific grinding energy is asked, but the formula remains same, joule per millimeter square or millimeter cube rounded off to 1 decimal places. Now I would say that, sir, this is the plate is given. I have a simple logic. We are interested to calculate what? A specific energy. So I have a formula. A specific energy is equal to power, that is Fc into cutting velocity divided by MRR. We all know that. We'll play the unit. Force, Newton. Velocity has to be meter per second. Now, metal removal rate, mm cube per second, right? Newton into meter, joule per second, numerator. Denominator, cube per second will get cancelled, kill each other, and then a remaining is joule per millimeter cube. Amount of energy required to remove unit volume of material is a specific energy, joule per millimeter cube. Straightforward, crystal clear, like water. What is it? MRR we have to calculate. Then we have to put the value of that Vc and Fc, and if I put that, I'll get a specific energy. Right, fine. Fc cutting force, I told you that. What is that? Sir, tangential force is cutting force, normal force is the thrust force. Tangential cutting force, Fc is 40 Newton. What is it? Fc, I'll write on here in a different particular fashion. So I'll say that, sir, Fc is equal to 40 Newton. Great. Whenever I say that force, the force is applied by the grinding wheel onto the workpiece. And how? If this is the metallic plate of a dimension, length 300 millimeter, thickness 50, width 10, what will happen? There will be a grinding wheel. How the grinding wheel will be? This is a circular grinding wheel. This is a grinding wheel would be there, right? Like that, like this, right? A grinding wheel is there. This is the grinding wheel is there. You can understand that, right? Or I would say that like this grinding wheel is there. Now the diameter of grinding wheel is there, something 150 millimeter, and now it rotates by certain RPM. So whenever it is rotating, when it rotates, comes and hits that surface. And whenever it is hitting, there is a certain force applied. By that grinding wheel. So can I say that the velocity by which the circumference surface is rotating, that is the velocity by which it will hit to that particular workpiece. So therefore, cutting velocity should be a circumferential surface velocity, and which is given there. A grinding velocity U is 40 meter per second. Hands up. Therefore, I'll say that, sir, Vc is exactly equal to 40 meter per second. Isn't it? Yes, 40 meter per second. Fc is there, Vc is there. Newton, meter, joule per second. Right? Fine. MRR, metal removal rate. Understand MRR. Right? Fine. Sir, MRR is nothing but volumetric removal of material with respect to time. How much volume millimeter cube is removed in 1 second, 1 minute or 1 hour. So when I say 1 second, I'll say that, sir, how much is millimeter cube volume? So it was given that whenever we do the operation, the depth of the cut given is 50 micrometer, depth of cut. So from the top layer surface, my wheel is grounded in a downward direction. So therefore, I'll say that something like that. This is my depth of cut. I know that it's exaggerated figure. Just to understand that. So this is depth of cut. Material is going to remove. This is the width. Because it was given width of the wheel is 12, which is greater than the width of the plate. So entire surface will get machined only in a one stroke. So therefore, I'll say that depth, this material is going to remove, width, this material is going to remove. So can I say that if I write down, this is the cross section material is going to get removed, and the cross section material which is going to get removed here is D multiplied by 10, D multiplied by 10. This is the cross sectional material. So depth of cut D is 50 micrometer. That 50 micrometer, that 50 micrometer, that 50 micrometer can be considered as, that 50 micrometer can be considered as, 50 micrometer can be considered as 0.05 millimeter. 0.05 millimeter. I hope so you are understanding this. 0.05 millimeter. Right, fine. Now, what is the velocity by which it is getting cut? What is the velocity by which it is getting cut? The velocity by which is getting cut. So, I'll say that, sir, what is the velocity by which it is getting cut is nothing but the velocity by which this metallic plate is moving. Because we know that, sir, this metallic plate is moving by certain velocity. The metallic plate is moving by a certain velocity, and what is the velocity it will pass over this grinding wheel? That is the velocity by which this cross section material removal takes place. This cross section material removal takes place, and therefore it was given that the table speed is 5 meter per minute. 5 meter per minute. So therefore, can I say that material removal rate is depth of cut multiplied by width multiplied by velocity, which is exactly equal to 0.05 millimeter, width is 10 millimeter, velocity is 5 meter per second. So 5 is meter. 5 is what? Meter. It was given that. What is that? 5 meter per minute. But I required what? I required mm per second. To convert into mm, I should multiply by 1000. This is what exactly mm divided by, now that minute has to be converted to a second, so it should be divided by 60. It should be divided by 60. So it is now mm per second, and now I'll say that mm multiplied by mm is mm cube per second. Mm cube per second. So now if you put all these values there, I'll say that, sir, now directly here specific energy you would be able to calculate directly. Specific energy you would be able to calculate 38.39 joule per millimeter cube. Joule per millimeter cube. Joule per millimeter cube. This is what exactly specific energy you are going to get calculate. Specific energy 38.39 joule per millimeter cube. As simple as that, a demonstration and the values you have to put there, calculate answer. Right, fine. Next question. The machining process that involves ablation is, and we know that the ablation word is related to what? Laser beam machining operation. Laser beam machining operation. We know that, sir, the laser ablation is the process of removing the metal from a solid surface by irradiating it with a laser beam. That is what called as ablation is. So when the laser particle are incident onto the surface, that energy of the laser, that laser is nothing but light particle, high intensity light particle, the material get melt and vaporize. And that process is nothing but sometimes called as irradiating the material by the laser beam, is nothing but called as ablation, and therefore this is nothing but the answer, laser beam machining. Delhi D is correct answer for that. Right, fine. Now, the very simple question was asked again on a rolling operation. The thickness, width and length of the metal slab are. So, when we talk about rolling operation, before it passes through a rolling operation, thickness, width is there, width is there, and the length is there, and the length is there. Length, width and thickness is given. So as it is original values, we can write it that original length is exactly equal to, what we can say that original length, the original length L naught is exactly equal to 3600 mm. It is having a thickness H naught is exactly equal to 50, and it is having a width is exactly equal to W naught is exactly equal to 250 millimeter. Right, fine. A rolling operation on this slab reduces the thickness by 10%. So whenever this metallic strip is passing through the roller, it reduces by 10%. 10% reduction takes place. So if it is reduces by 10%, how much it will remain? Remaining will be 90% because reduction is a 10%. So I can write down here L1 or L final is equal to 90%, that is 0.9, 90 by 100, 0.9 multiply by L naught. Multiply by what? L naught. And increases width by 3%. Width also increases by 3%. So if the width increases by 3%, I'll say that, sir, width increases by 3%. It's a rolling operation on this, reduces the thickness by 10%. So I should say that it should not be LF, or it should be HF. This should be HF. Final thickness is this, and the final width is exactly equal to, I'd say that it increases by 3%, that is 1.03 into what? Original width W naught, because it is increases by 3%. So the final width will be a 3% more, that is 103%, 1.03 multiplied by W naught. And now he is asking us the question, calculate final length. Calculate what? Final length. Now I know that, sir, whenever we talk about any metal forming process, we assume that material is incompressible. When the material passes through plastic deformation, the shape may change, dimension may change, but the overall volume of the metal remain constant. That is called as incompressibility property is valid. So therefore, original volume of the body is exactly equal to final volume after even the plastic deformation also, which means that I can simply say that V naught original volume is exactly equal to Vf final volume. If this is the body, what is the volume? Thickness, width multiplied by length. So I'll simply say that thickness, that is H naught, multiply by what? Width. Width is exactly equal to, so I can simply say that this we can write down here. So I'll say that, sir, L naught or V naught is exactly equal to V final. So I'll say that thickness H naught into width W naught into length L naught is exactly equal to the thickness H final into width final into length final. Right, fine. So I'll say that H naught I'll keep it as it is, H naught. Width also I'll keep it as it is, and whatever the L naught, that is original length, is there. What is the original length? 3600. I'll put it there. 3600 is equal to final length, and we all know that, sir, final length is nothing but final thickness is getting reduced by 10%. That is final thickness is the 0.9 multiply by this is also H naught, right? 0.9 multiply by H naught. So I'll say that this is 0.9 into H naught multiply by WF. What is the final width? Final width is 1.03 into WF multiply by LF. Therefore, if we calculate that, final length would be coming, the final length, if I am not wrong, answer is coming 3883.49 millimeter. This is what exactly a final answer is coming. This is what exactly final answer is coming. That's a simple logic. What is the simple logic? Sir, volumetric changes are 0, material is considered as incompressible, put it there, calculate answer, and you will get the range, you will get the answer. Right, fine. I hope you are understanding. Volume remains constant. Now, in a CNC machine tool, the function of an interpolator is to generate. So many times we have discussed that a lot of time. Sir, interpolation is nothing but the consecutive distance between two consecutive points on a contour. It is a distance between two consecutive points on a contour. It is nothing but called as interpolation, and the interpolator is nothing but controlling the movement of the tool which generates the different path, whether it is a circular path or a linear path. Right, fine. So my tool is moving from here to here, here to here, here to here. This is the actual path that tool is traveling. So the interpolation or interpolator is controlling the movement of tool. If it is controlling the movement of tool, whichever the direction in which my tool is moving, that is the shape it is going to get produced onto the body. So which means that, sir, interpolator is nothing but controlling the shape. Is it controlling the signal of the lubrication pump during machining? No. Directly I will say that a reference signal prescribing the shape of the part to be machined. It is what? It is just controlling the path of the movement of the tool. That is, it controls the shape of the part to be machined. It controls what? A shape of the part to get machined. This is called as a interpolator or interpolation. Right? Fine. So I hope you are understanding this. Now one more simple question was asked on a metal cutting operation. In a pure orthogonal turning by a zero rec angle, single point carbide cutting tool, rec angle is given 0, okay, alpha 0 is equal to 0 degree. The shear force has been computed to be 400 Newton. So I will say that shear force is given, which is exactly equal to 400 Newton. 400 Newton is shear force given in the problem. If the cutting velocity Vc is 100 meter per minute, okay, cutting velocity Vc is exactly equal to 100 meter per minute. Cutting velocity is given. Depth of cut 2 millimeter and the feed is 0.1 mm per revolution. So I will say that depth of cut. Is exactly equal to 2.0 millimeter and the feed is exactly equal to 0.1 mm per revolution. And the chip velocity, chip flow velocity, velocity of chip with respect to tool, chip flow velocity, VF 20 meter per minute. Okay, sir, no issues. VF is exactly equal to 20 meter per minute, 20 meter per minute. Then the shear strength tau s of the material will be in the megapascal. Shear strength is a stress. It is not a Newton, it is not a force, right? Megapascal, Newton per meter square. Sir, if I go to the metal cutting operation, we know that, sir, this is what exactly a tool. It is engaged to the workpiece, right? So when it is being engaging, it will apply force, and because of that, there is a shear plane along which the shear fracture takes place. And whichever the force acting along the shear plane, that is called a shear force, which is responsible for shear fracture to be takes place. And this is what exactly area. This is called a shear area along which shear fracture takes place. Now, sir, if I am interested to calculate shear stress, it is very simple that shear force is given in the problem. So can I say that shear force applied on that shear area, force divided by area is nothing but the stress. So therefore I will say that, sir, a shear stress tau s is equal to shear force divided by shear area. It is just pure common sense, man. Is it okay, folks? Yes, absolutely. So I'll say Fs divided by S, shear force given in the problem, shear area. Okay, fine, shear area. What is the shear area? Length of the shear plane, Ls, multiply by width W, length of the shear plane. So I'll say that angle made by shear plane with the cutting velocity vector is a shear plane angle phi. So from the triangle, can I say that sine of phi is exactly equal to, this is uncut chip thickness T naught divided by length of the shear plane. Shear plane is hypotenuse. So therefore I will say that, sir, length of the shear plane Ns is T naught divided by sine of phi. So can I say that area of the shear plane is width W multiply by length, that is T naught divided by sine of phi. I got my answer here immediately. Is it true? Yes, sir. So what is left there, sir? Shear force is given in the problem. Okay, fine. Divided by shear area, W width divided by T naught divided by sine phi. Okay, fine. Okay, great. W width. Sir, in the problem, if you see that, sir, depth of cut is given and feed is given. When the depth of cut and feed is given, you know that, sir, when the depth of cut and feed is given and alpha 0 is 0 degree, right? Fine. When the depth of cut and feed is given, we know that, sir, the feed becomes uncut chip thickness and depth of cut becomes my width of the cut or width of the chip. Therefore, can I say that here in a simple manner, the width of the cut or width of the chip becomes 2.0 millimeter and feed becomes my uncut chip thickness T naught, that is 0.1 mm per revolution. It is 0.1 mm. Do you understand that? Yes. So many several number of hours we spend to understand this, right? Fine. When the two values are given like that, so I'll say that, sir, here by default my depth of cut will become width of this particular cut or chip and feed becomes my uncut chip thickness, that is 0.1. Now here if I say that, sir, if the two values are known to now me, that means in this W also is known and T naught is also known. T naught is known, W is known. Okay, fine. Phi, shear plane angle phi. So to calculate shear plane angle phi, I have one simple formula. What is this formula? Sir, the formula is tan of phi exactly equal to R into cos of alpha 0. R into cos of alpha 0 divided by 1 minus R into sine of alpha 0. 1 minus R into sine of alpha 0. Therefore, I'll say that, sir, R value we are interested to calculate now. Alpha 0 is given in the problem. It's a 0 degree rake angle. I hope so, right? In a pure orthogonal turning by 0 rake. Rake is given. R, chip thickness ratio, sir, Vf by Vc, Vf by Vc. Okay, man. So, I'll say that, sir, R, chip thickness, R is exactly equal to Vf by Vc. Vf is 20, divided by Vc is 100. This is 0.2. Now put it there. Therefore, I'll say that, sir, tan of phi is exactly equal to 0.2 into cos of 0 degree divided by 1 minus 0.2 into a sine of 0 degree. So, phi value is coming, once you calculate that, phi is coming 11.30 degree, 11.30 degree, 11.30 degree. And if we got that 11.30 degree, now list is nothing but just put the value there. So, I'll say that tau s shear stress is exactly equal to shear force. How much is shear force is given? Shear force is given 400 Newton. So, I'll say that, sir, 400 Newton divided by what is the shear area? What is shear area? Shear is W into T naught. W is 2. W is what? 2 into 0.1 divided by sine phi. So, therefore, I'll say that sine of what is that phi? Phi is 11.30 degree, and therefore, I'll say that shear stress tau s is coming 392.23 Newton per millimeter square. Newton per millimeter square. This is what exactly final answer is there. This is the final answer. Is it true? Yes. So, this is what exactly questions from the forenoon sessions, or I say the afternoon sessions. Wish you all the luck, and if you have any doubt, I would say that you can get back to me on my personal mail ID. I'll say that, sir, it is Ravi Tube 1987 at gmail.com. You can get back to me on this. All the right, folks. Thank you, everybody. Take care.